Next up, we have David Schwartz talking about eSports and Litecoin and adoption. Come on up. Wrong convention.
Remove that individual, please. No, kidding. Well, so that makes my topic a little lighter than Blake's, obviously. Whoop. I'm going to switch out. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks. My topic's a little lighter than that. I'm going to talk about gaming and an organization called LTC eSports LLC, and basically how the foundation has gotten into gaming. So a little bit about LTC eSports LLC. It started out as Litecoin Gaming. Some of you may have heard of that. It was around for a few months earlier this year. And it was a good stab at what we were trying to do. But at the end of the day, that was dissolved. And some of the core members from that migrated over to this newer organization called LTC eSports LLC. The LLC is based out of Wisconsin. But the core members of it are located in various locations around the world. One's in the UK, there's another one in Massachusetts. And it's the first one that's really sort of tied directly to a cryptocurrency, a decentralized one, piggybacking off of the idea of the original. So some of this is what I just went over, but basically what's going on is you have these guys who have been in the gaming space for quite some time, and they are avid crypto individuals, or they've just gotten into it and they're wanting to learn more, but they also feel like there's an opportunity that's not being seized where cryptocurrency is really sort of more deeply intertwined with gaming itself. And if you know anything about the gaming industry, there is a lot of interest and a lot of money that is going into this industry, right? And so what you're doing is you're tapping into a largely growing industry where these are people that are between, probably 14 and 40 is probably the best demographic size to sort of explain it. But these are individuals who have, disposable income that is being used in this area, and they have a lot of interests that once they're tied to them, they're very, very loyal. All right, well, what does that have to do with Litecoin and the foundation? So these individuals decided that they wanted to come to the Litecoin Foundation. The original guy that thought of it came to the 2019 summit, actually. It was here in Las Vegas and proposed the idea. It was still a little bit early, so I had asked him to come back at a later time with that idea, and maybe we could do something with it. And that's when he came in 2021, and we talked about it and started that original one that we had spoken of. And so what the foundation did was they had seen enough in what was going on to be interested in it, and actually got a 15% stake in the LLC itself. And so that gives everybody an idea of how much legitimacy was given to the organization itself. And the foundation is then tied to and has an interest in making sure that this works. But it also brings Litecoin to the front of tournaments, streaming, people that are doing content creation on Twitch, other places where crypto and maybe gaming weren't so married before. All right, so I'll talk about some of the different things that are going on with the gaming itself. One of the biggest things that are going on right now is we have an Apex Legend team that's part of the gaming org, and that team is actually playing, probably right now actually, for the pros qualifications that are being originated here in Las Vegas. And if they were to actually become pro this weekend or here within the next few weeks, because they have a couple of different iterations of it, that team then is able to tap into all these large sponsors that you hear about that sponsor either gaming teams or organizations or content creators. So you're talking about your Twitters, your TikTok, all of these different companies that are tapping into the gaming organizations, they'll be coming to us too then. So This team sort of came out of nowhere in the last probably 6 weeks, right? So two of them had been professional gamers in some other capacity on other games, but they did this on the side also, and they got together, created a team, and within 4 weeks, they're now qualifying for pros. So that's something that just really doesn't happen. So we're very excited about the team that's doing this. And it kind of gives you, if you look at the screen at the bottom of it there, it gives you a bit of an idea of how many people watch this stuff online. I myself know that at least 2 of my children are very avid in this. One of them's actually a streamer himself. But to be able to get these types of views on just an individual game or a tournament or whatever is pretty fascinating. If you've ever heard of some of the people that have played in these tournaments, like there's, I think, a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old who had won like millions of dollars winning one of these tournaments. So the money that's in it is pretty extensive. But for us as the foundation and for anybody that's involved in it, it's really more about getting the name of Litecoin out there into places that maybe it wasn't before. And I can honestly tell you, just in the short time that even the Apex team has been playing, they have gotten a lot of questions about Litecoin, or they at least say, I already know who you guys are, and they're coming to them for things. So we even have had a hard time keeping our Apex Legends team because there's already people trying to swipe them away. They're that good. So what does that do for Litecoin and the foundation? It allows us to expand into other things as well. So now we also have a Call of Duty Warzone team that's been playing. They've been doing very well. They just were in a $100,000 tournament, I believe it was last week, and finished 12th. And the idea is to be able to expand into these areas, hold our own tournaments, create our own atmosphere within the gaming space where cryptocurrency is prominent, and that Litecoin name is the name that people are hearing. So here we talk about the different content creators that we have as well. They expand into Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and those will continue to grow as we increase the amount of money that comes in through all these different sponsorships. The way that the foundation helps majority of time is just through reciprocating that attention on social media. So they'll go out and they'll post some of the gaming tweets that you'll see from the organizations as they play in different tournaments or some of the content that they've created. Then the last leg of how to make this work even better is to make sure that we have stuff out there that people are able to purchase so that they're even more tied to what's going on. So we've partnered with Glitch Energy, which a lot of people know within the gaming space, and then also Rebirth Apparel. So there's a drink that's coming out that's tied directly to Litecoin through Glitch Energy. And then Rebirth Apparel, you can already buy clothing and other gaming things that have Litecoin tied to them. Anything that they do will have Litecoin on it in some capacity. And so that's a way of getting brand awareness out for Litecoin as well. So here you see some of the Glitch Energy tubs. But the one that we're really excited about is within this next month, you'll have Litecoin Aid that comes out. And that's something where if you're not part of this industry, energy drinks are really like, they're very important within the space because if you have gamers that are playing for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours straight, energy drinks are their go-to, right? And so they become very loyal to the brands of whoever it is that they're following or whoever it is that they see as being significant within the space. Glitch has been around for quite some time and they're doing a great job. They even started their own gaming organization, but we've created a very strong partnership with them that I think is going to bring a lot more positivity within the space as more organizations recognize what we're doing specifically. And then this is some of the apparel from Rebirth. These things are available already online, but they are the ones who have created even the gaming jerseys that our teams use. The organization was nice enough, they sent myself, Charlie, and Alan jerseys, and so we're going to try and get a photo later and put that out for them online so that everybody can see what those look like as well. And as I mentioned, partnerships in eSports, they're very critical. You have more and more cryptocurrency-related companies or entities starting to get into the space themselves. Crypto.com would be one of them, Coinbase and FTX. They've all sponsored either streamers or teams that are playing in tournaments recently. If you look at the last one there, it says FTX alone, surprise, sponsored an eSports team for $210 million, right? So that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea how much money is out there being given to these organizations and teams. So what's the future for LTC eSports? I did mention a few of these things already, but basically what we're trying to do is start from the beginning, create a strong brand, a strong recognition within a tight-knit group of people that follow it, expand that out to additional teams, start running tournaments ourselves. We're aiming to have the first gaming tournament that's ever been sponsored by a decentralized currency. We'll hope to do that here very soon, where the plans are already in place for that. And then, as I mentioned, start doing additional things where now we become more like somebody who's incubating these things versus one who's starting out in the space. And so what does that mean for us right now? We're at the point where we're actually taking in investors for the gaming organization. And basically what's happening is, in order to retain the teams that you have to be able to pay them, right? So like the Apex team that I mentioned, that's not a cheap thing. Once somebody becomes pro or a team becomes pro, you're not talking about giving them a couple $100s and retaining them. Somebody else comes along and can give them 10 times that easily, right? So you bring them in, you make them a part of the team, but then you have to be able to retain and grow at the same time. That takes money, obviously. Being able to enter into tournaments, continuously trying to grow it out with the apparel and everything else, that takes money. So with the growth of the Apex team and the other things, we're looking to actually be able to show to investors that this is something that's actually making money already after such a short period of time. We have a very strong, laser-focused approach to the strategy. And if you are actually interested in it, you can either contact myself or Josh Smith, who is the CEO. He's the one that's based out of the UK. And let us know what your thoughts are on investing into the organization as a whole. Just to give you an idea, the amount of money that's been put into gaming as a whole over the last few years goes well into the hundreds of billions. And it's growing because it's that young still. Think of cryptocurrency at about year 5. That's where we're at with gaming. Although it's been around longer, it takes longer for something like that to become a professional sport, where you start seeing, like what's happened with the UFC or some of these other sports that are growing right now. It takes time. But during that time, that's when you get invested in them, not when they're already at the point where it's matured. Does anybody have any questions about gaming in general, or what else the foundation feels is important with this besides getting the Litecoin brand out there and having it recognized by people who have maybe never even seen crypto before? Yes. Yes, NFTs will definitely be a part of it as well. Not just from the organization as a whole, but these teams that we end up having allied with us. The idea is to get them their own NFTs and to, of course, make utility out of them. We don't want to just have an NFT that has like a cool, whatever on it, and then that's it. We want it to be able to be something where they're able to engage back with the organization or those specific teams or content creators, like rewards, right? So, yes, thank you for that question. Anybody else? Yes.
Has there been any effort to contact the teams and enlighten them about the joys of blockchain and play to earn?
Oh, like just educate them in blockchain and like other existing teams?
Yeah, I mean, do you reach out and what are their thoughts on Web3 and play to earn gaming?
So I can tell you that at least with the guys in our organization, and then one of the partners that we have, Glitch, they've been approached by other cryptos already, and so what they do is they bounce it back off of me and the foundation to find out how legitimate is it, what does this even mean, what is Web3, things like that. So we don't we haven't necessarily reached out to other organizations to educate them at this point. We wanted to make sure that we were legitimized in the space first before we start doing that. But we are starting to receive questions from other orgs about this type of stuff. So it's obviously working, which is good. Thank you. All right. If there aren't any other questions, I appreciate the time to show you guys this. So we're very excited about it. It's something that's, from a conservative standpoint, probably not something most organizations are doing, but we felt like this was the right time to do it, and we're early enough to where we're making a footprint where it's not going to be erased very easily. So we're very excited about that. Thank you.